Welcome everyone to another edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. I am your hardcore host Rick Head, and I'm joined by the hardcore crew. First, she's the lovely vicious vixen Zoe Nightshade. Zoe, how we doing, honey?
Doing good. Good to be back. Exhausted.
And then over at Lance Moss TV, he's the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, what's shaking?
Not too much, and we got a whole lot of different topics for tonight, so let's have some fun.
Absolutely. And last and certainly not least, from the Lord Skeldon Realms, he's the Lord Skeldon himself, Joseph Knight. Joe, what's up?
Nothing much, Lance. I thought you were going to say a whole lot of shaking going on. Finally,
well, remember, if you have a problem with anything Joe says, it's Joe at Skeldon's Room.
I didn't even say anything. We'll do that later. but no, I'm good. Can't wait to go into these topics. Let's, like Lance says, let's go and have some fun.
Well, apparently, Anthony Mayweather, who was known as Crimson when he worked in Impact, was arrested for violating an active restraining order of protection. According to the report, police conducted a welfare check on February 24th, and they learned that Mayweather had both made several calls to his son's phone call and multiple texts to his wife, Heather Mayweather. This is due to what happened on March 8th. He apparently went up to his wife and headbutted his wife. His bond is now set for $1,000. He also had issues with his wife. This is going back from 2016, so it's 2023, and she's still with this guy. Zoe, help me out here.
I really can't explain it, to tell you the truth. I mean, some women just don't know when to say when. I'm telling you, if my husband hit me the first time, I'd be like, either you're out or I'm out, one of the two, pick one.
Well, I think you're the one that's probably beating on him.
Yeah.
Well, nevertheless, Joe, I mean, you're a husband. Don't get me wrong.
I am a husband, at least last time I checked.
Well, okay, so please, what's your thoughts on this whole situation?
First of all, when you said that, I'm glad I had my mic muted because I fucking laughed like a storm. I was thinking, I wonder if he did the Andre the Giant headbutt, like, ooh, and he did the headbutt because that's what Andre was famous for. He made that repulsive scream when he headbutted people.
Something tells me not, but okay.
Damn, that would have been funny. He headbutted me and said, "Oh, we,"
Oh, Jesus
okay,
Christ.
fine.
That's Joe at Skeldon's Room.
I know. See, now here's the thing. That wasn't even bad. That wasn't perverted, but it was funny. Maybe they're Klingons or Vikings, and that they had to headbutt each other. I'm sure he butted his head a couple of times, but seeing that's not perverted either.
Oh, Jesus.
And by the way, Zoe's tired because she now stuffs Moxley underneath her bed. So let's go with that first. But Rick, you know what? Here's the thing. I don't know. I don't get it. Why would any woman be in an abusive relationship? Especially if the person has it once. It's you can probably. I don't want to say that because I hate to see anybody in abusive, male or females.
Yeah.
But something like this that's repetitive. You kind of want to start taking the road away from that. And here's a guy who had a lot of promise. He was kind of forgotten because he was in Impact TNA, and it's not like he did a huge press, but now, this could be possible jail time. This could be assault. This is going to affect him in the long run, and even maybe affect himself with his kids if he has any.
Yeah, well, his son actually, and I want to welcome Terry 3G to the site, and thank you, Jerry, for saying afternoon all. And okay, Lance, final thoughts on Crimson and his apparently history of abuse.
Well, fuck him. And two, it might not, since she got a restraining order against his big jacked up steroided ass. They might be married in legal terms only. So he just might not want to sign the papers.
This is true. You know what? And that's another fact. I want to move on to another subject. Now, Joe's favorite ladies, the Bella twins, have now changed their names to the Garcia twins. Now, for those of you who don't know who the Garcias originally originated, that was when they were working in the Indies before they hit the WWE. Now, Joe, they actually, during WrestleMania 30, they actually tweeted that they were not, they didn't show up and they felt like almost insulted. So I wonder if that's kind of a hint that they just want to go and do their own thing.
I'm kind of insulted when every time they appear. I'm offended. I should join that offended club. Um, they're so out of it. They're so divas that they want to be so like they got to try to have that spotlight on them when their time is come and gone. They should never be nowhere near a wrestling ring. They should never be nowhere near a camera. Lord knows.
Oh, I wouldn't say no in front of a camera.
Well,
okay.
that only a certain particular camera, and as long as it's on Pornhub, I don't have a problem with it. But otherwise, they're so irrelevant. There's nothing ideal for them, and I just hope that Tony Khan doesn't, just because one is married to fucking Daniel Bryan, that they do not bring these Botch and Bella twins to AEW, because that will end. That's when nope, fuck you. It is time for you to close up this company, because obviously you have no fucking clue on real talent. So, Rick, I think this is just publicity that they're trying to get stuff together, and they're trying to do as much as they can just to keep themselves relevant. They're no longer relevant. There's nothing. Have you seen whichever Bella it is? Now she's got her boobs twice this size. I mean, I'm a boob guy.
You talking about Nikki?
Yes. I love boobs on a woman. You got to get them squeeze toys in. But when they look fake and the way they look on her, and her face looks like she's a melted Barbie, it's time to push her aside. So I just hope the Botch and Bella twins just get out of the way. In fact, they should just do a porn with them and Saraya, and that will probably be more. That will probably help all their careers.
And call it the triple threat match.
Well, just call it triple threat, and that'll be fine.
All right, Lance, your thoughts?
Well, since they're going with a name that Vince can't sue them over using their own, because let's face it, the WWE owns the name the Bella Twins. So, yeah. And, well, honestly, other than that, I'd try their wine if I knew how much it was and if it wasn't too damn much. Other than that, so long, suckers.
I don't think the Bella's wine is going to be, you can find it on a shelf for $20.
Well, then, so long, suckers.
Yeah, they squash it with their own prosthetic feet.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, wait a minute. Let me have my say when it comes to this. Not only did they squash it with their half decent clean feet, but to give it that extra spice, they rub it between their legs.
Oh my God.
I think we officially creeped Zoe out, and the show hasn't even gotten underway.
Too bad we don't have camera, because Zoe's face is probably red right now.
Well, you know what? That's something we should probably think about in the future. Terry 3G gave his thing. He says, no, I don't think they're not Bellas are not going back to wrestling. Zoe, let me ask you this. They may not be going back to wrestling, but I wonder if they do other things like meet and greet or WrestleCon and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, as far as that goes, I've read a couple of articles since the news that came out. I know that they're going to be focusing more on their family. They're going to focus on their wine. They're going to focus on their clothing line that they have out as well. They do have a new TV show that's coming out called The Garcia Twins. They said that they were done with anything wrestling.
Yay!
So Brie Bella's getting a divorce?
Well, they're done appearing for anything wrestling.
I'm like, kill Daniel Bryan.
Yes. Yeah. This is where I start screaming, yes, yes, yes.
Well,
fuck them.
I want to get on to one last topic before we get on to our other main topics. There's something on it. AEW just posted on Twitter that they will join forces with New Japan Pro Wrestling once again on June 25th. So we will have another Forbidden Door coming.
Right on.
And that was a pretty damn good pay-per-view last year. Although, if I'm not mistaken, Forbidden Door, there was like 2 or 3 people that were out on injury. Adam
Yeah.
Cole was one. It's been almost a year since we've seen Adam Cole wrestle because he had a nasty concussion. Love
Yeah.
that input, guys.
Yeah.
Well, usually you say, okay, go ahead, Joe, or go ahead,
Well, yeah,
Lance.
all right. Go ahead, Joe. Jump in.
All right. Well, first of all, I love when they do stuff like this because you get to see talent from another, not only from New Japan mixed with them, but usually the matches are really damn good because they pick the people that either have already worked with them or are such great talents that they work well with each other. So honestly, I think that's a great idea. Can't wait to see how they do that. You know, the whatever WWE does, I think they should have had also jumped on that ball and worked out something with that.
Yeah. Zoe, your thoughts?
I'm excited for it. I didn't know what to expect with the first Forbidden Door or anything, and I was not disappointed. So the fact that they're doing it again, I'm over the moon about it.
Yeah, and Terry 3G is screaming Forbidden Door. There isn't a Zoe what goes through to get John Moxley. And
You know,
Lance,
do you Zoe, do you like break on the door when he's in his hotel room, breaks a hole in it? It says, "Where's Moxley?"
Are you kidding? I scaled the side of the building up to his balcony.
See? It's Spider Zoe.
Spiders oh, spiders oh.
All right, Lance, you get the final thoughts on that one.
Well, I'm excited because let's face it, last year's was one hell of a show. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned about, I heard it was going to be in Japan this time. That's going to be a hell of a
Time difference.
time doing.
Well, if that is the case, yeah. So, which means we probably won't see it on the typical time, unless, of course, it gets taped for the U.S.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. AEW has been talking about wanting a third wrestling show for some time, but now it looks like it might be happening pretty sooner than later. According to reports, AEW is finalizing a deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, but there's still no real details at this point. One report claimed that it could be a show that would happen on Saturdays at 6:05 on TBS. Lance, your thoughts?
Hell yeah. I know they say they have 3 shows nowadays. Are they counting that reality thing that's going to be
No,
coming?
it's going to be a wrestling show.
Oh, okay. Well, it's Southern tradition wrestling at 6:05 on TBS. I'm all for it.
Now, I'm behind the concept, but a third show, weekly show, I don't know why they don't amp it up and a Rampage.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, Joe. You think maybe this is a Ring of Honor show they're finally trying to get to?
Possibly, which will be a smart thing for them to have a rival promotion, not really rival because they own it just
Alternate
like NXT.
brand.
Right, like an alternate brand, like an NXT. I think that'll be a great idea because now you have another place, where you can literally get things going. You can have some of the talent that are being overshadowed in AEW appear here. I like the way AEW has it set. They have their 2 internet shows, their Dark and Elevation for all the indie talent to kind of work on there. You could see them, and then they get elevated up to Dynamite and Rampage. Having this other product or other brand helps them because now you have an alternative. You have Ring of Honor, which never had a real full show that people can see. So this will help with pay-per-view buys for Ring of Honor. This will help with live gates for Ring of Honor, house shows, merchandise. So something that the original owners of AEW could not do. Tony Khan is going to, if he relaunches as another brand to be on TBS, and it's not in direct competition, hell, that's great. It helps a lot. And who knows, they could probably do competition with each other because now the guys in Ring of Honor want to be better than AEW and vice versa. And they do appear on each other's shows. So who knows how this works out. But I think it's a great idea if they put it as a Ring of Honor brand.
All right. Now, Lance, we were all talking about the Honor Club and the Honor pay-per-views, but I suggested that I would like to see the weekly show be on the Honor Club, so it would give us a motive for me to purchase the Honor Club because pay-per-views offhand I'm not ready for, but maybe the TV deal might be a good way to draw me to get the Honor Club.
Yeah, like the network, like we said, and yeah, because let's face it, I was only able to see Ring of Honor TV for about 6 months before the whole damn world went to shit. And y'all know what I'm talking about. So, I'm not, but yeah. And long story short, their TV was so screwed up, but this would definitely make it where everybody that could pay, I don't know, $5.99 or however much it is, could be able to see week in, week out, and even the pay-per-views. So I'm all for it.
Joe, take over.
Joe,
What?
take over.
I said my piece. I said it was a great idea.
Well, I think that's going to be a great idea coming from somebody who's never really watched Ring of Honor except for the little matches that they had put on AEW. So my family's going to hate the idea of it because they're going to want to go out and I'm going to be like, nope, wrestling's on tonight. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm back, and I caught a little bit of what you said, and yeah, Saturday during the afternoon would be. I'd probably have to DVR it because that's me and my girls' night day out. We usually go out to breakfast and we go do something else, especially with the summer coming. But you know what? It's something I would definitely DVR and watch. I don't even think I watch Rampage because it's so late in the night, and by then I'm like cooking supper and we're all, me and my girl, we're all doing our things. So.
To be honest, I passed out about halfway through Rampage.
Lance, you passed out halfway through by the pay-per-views.
Okay, to be fair, those were damn near at midnight, so.
Yeah,
and to Lance's credit, he mostly passes out during the WWE pay-per-view, which we all do.
That is true.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you guys, last week's was it 2 weeks ago? Revolution. That was a kick-ass pay-per-view to not fall asleep. But Lance, hey, it's all right. We forgive you.
Yeah.
Revolution.
I woke up by the end of the main event.
Perfect time.
In the morning. I woke up 2 in the morning.
I did.
Say again?
Did he snore as loud as I did?
I'm not sure. I didn't really listen in for the whole thing. I was just kind of like, I turned the volume down and I turned the TV volume up. So.
I remember there was one pay-per-view where you guys were like, Zoe, and I was like, I'm up. I wasn't asleep.
Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to violate that. What? Oh, here I am. By the way, AEW is going to Saskatoon in Canada. It looks like they got dates up in Canada now.
Going to Canada.
I've talked about they've actually talked about doing touring in Canada for some time. Moving on, ECW's original Francine has been calling out Liv Morgan for using the moniker Queen of Extreme. When ECW was in a prime, Francine was the original Queen of Extreme. Now Francine is looking to trademark the moniker to keep WWE from letting Liv Morgan use it. On a side note, Corey Graves also returned to Atlanta as Queen of Extreme, which she has some kind of, it makes more sense in her case, but then again, if you remember back during the Attitude Era, she was on the Team Extreme. But even still, Francine said that she has no animosity or ill will towards either Morgan or Lita. She's just trying to protect the brand that she created nearly 30 years ago. Zoe, let me tell it over to you. What's your thoughts?
I understand her wanting to protect what's hers and everything. Liv Morgan, I like the girl, but she's not that extreme. to earn that title.
Yeah, I really haven't watched WWE a lot. Lance, what is she doing now that's quote unquote extreme?
She goes a little insane every once in a while and beats somebody with a kendo stick. That's about it. But here's the thing. Did Francine hold the copyright to Queen of Extreme, or did ECW? Because if
No.
ECW did,
No,
Vince could have got it when he bought the company.
no, I could tell you right now, she owns the trademark to
Ooh.
Queen of
No,
Extreme.
she does not.
No.
No,
Huh,
neither does WWE right now. It's fair game. She's trying to copyright it as we speak.
Oh, well, go figure. I would think because I know a couple of people like the franchise. Shane Douglas got his franchise thing trademarked, and a couple other people got their. I think Tommy Dreamer trademarked, I guess, something extreme, or I forget what it was, but go figure.
The innovator of violence.
Yes, thank you, Lance. You know, honestly, there's nothing extreme about Liv Morgan. Her wrestling sucks. She's been through so many character changes. It's ridiculous.
She cries all the time.
Yeah, she cries because it's like she has menopause 24/7. Oh, woe, it's me. My fucking cunt itches because nobody wants to take me
Jesus
serious.
Christ.
That's Joe Explosion.
No, come on now.
Hold on, Fat Boy is in our chat room. Welcome, James. He said no one can be extreme in the WWE, and you know what? I think we can all agree on that one, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially Liv
I have
Morgan.
not seen WWE do extreme, even during Extreme Rules. The matches like PG. You know,
Very.
so I myself, I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's just like it shows the lack of creativity in the WWE.
Well, Rick, they're rehashing stuff from the past and hoping that the people who are trying to rehash it can actually do something about it. That's why the first lady of professional wrestling would always be Elizabeth.
Absolutely. Yep.
You know, you have, like
Maria
sensational.
Kanellis. She's calling herself the first lady of wrestling.
Oh God.
Well, it's a quick way to get heat.
Yeah, the queen of wrestling will always be like either sensational Sherry or something, or I forgot who else, or Moolah. But yeah, they WWE just, well, let's call this person probably the excellence of execution because he ain't gonna use that anymore, and that person flops. So.
Yeah. And here's another thing. They want to talk about rehashing stuff. Why don't they rehash the divas where they do like all the diva contests, or even the bras and panties matches? Why don't they do that back? They can bring that back.
Because that's not PG.
Oh,
because it's rating towards women athletes.
Oh, too bad.
If they would ask me to do a bra and panties match, I'd look at them and tell them to shove it up their butt.
I'd be like,
yeah,
okay,
but every time Moxley says it, you're okay with it.
Yeah.
That's a different platform.
Yes, it's called Pornhub. But
moving along, Taya Valkyrie has finished up her contract with Impact Wrestling and is now a free agent. Taya is also the current women's MLW champion, but there is rumors that she could actually show up, be the Jade Cargill's mystery opponent for her TBS championship tonight on Dynamite. Now, right now, these are only rumors. There's nothing at all to suggest that Taya is going to show up, let alone even beat somebody like Jade Cargill. Now, I've been watching Taya Valkyrie's matches, and she's a talented wrestler and a powerful wrestler. So I could definitely see those two locking up. But, Joe, would that make sense to bring an outsider in to defeat Jade Cargill?
No, what's going to happen is if she does show up, it's going to be a competitive match, and it's going to be where Jade has to roll out and like leave the ring and get a count out. That way she keeps her title. Valkyrie looks strong, And it's like I wasn't expecting that. Like, who the hell booked that? Like she could play it so well. And I think that's going to be the biggest strength there of her playing to that crowd. Like I wasn't ready for that. There's no way. I was not going to let someone beat me and this. So I think it's going to be a like a surprise run in, and she's going to challenge for the belt. They go back and forth where she comes close to no cigar, and Jade just takes her belt, rolls out of the ring, and quickly leaves because it's like, whoa, I wasn't ready for this. No, it wasn't. Almost the honky tonk man and the Ultimate Warrior. So, except one of the participants knows how to wrestle. So that's what I'm guessing that's going to happen because that way they can build it up to a match later on at a pay per view. I seen Valkyrie; she's a good worker. Yeah, everybody knows how I feel about Jade Cargill. She's a phenomenal athlete. She's learning every day. She keeps in great shape, and I love when she does the cosplay entrances. So this will be pretty good, but never have someone just rush in and just beat someone for the belt because that diminishes the champion. You know, it was okay when you did it for Honky Tonk Man, but you
Well, in
know,
that case, we had the Ultimate Warrior was already on the rise.
right? And he was already established in the company.
Exactly. To bring in somebody
So
who's never even wrestled in the company to run in and beat her like that, even if it was a strong match, I'm not sure if it would make sense. Zoe, what's your thoughts?
They'll definitely turn this into a little bit of a storyline. Really, with Jade, there's nobody on the roster currently that could beat her and take that title away other than Nyla Rose. So bringing Ty in to start a new storyline and then taking it all the way to the next pay per view, Valkyrie, whatever, however you pronounce her name, she can meet Jade muscle to muscle. Now, normally, whenever you see Jade Cargill or Valkyrie go up against anybody else, you're like, okay, these women are big, they are strong, they are tough. Obviously, we know who's going to win. It's going to be Jade or it's going to be Valkyrie. Putting them against each other would make for a really good match.
All right, now over in the chat room, both Terry and Fatboy made some really good points. Terry first said maybe it was one of the injured females that come back, and take her out. Thunder Rose has been out for some time. We're not really sure what her case status is. And there are other wrestlers, active wrestlers on the roster. Britt Baker. I don't think she's ever faced Jade Cargill. Never mind, you could talk about Tony Storm or Saraya, and I know that
uh,
it's not really not somebody who I'm looking for, but again, these are all other women that Jade has yet to face.
and I would welcome that as long as they allow Jade to break Soraya's neck.
Oh my God. So every time I watch a Jade match, whenever she does her finisher, I think of that movie Fired Up, where they drop the girl on the face, and he's like, "You broke her face. Where am I going to get another one of those in this hour?"
Now, also, Terry also suggested it could be one of the injured. Oh no, no, mind. I'm sorry. Fatboy also said that it could be Tony Khan would not allow Jade to lose by countout or DQ. Jade will win by pinfall. That's an
I
interesting point.
I don't think that's going to happen because then you're diminishing Valkyrie as a talent that you can bring in and build up. See,
Right.
see, that's the difference between a real wrestling promoter booker than somebody who never had a thing in the business. If you're going to bring someone that's popular and she's already been on the top of the heap of another company, you don't want her to look that bad bringing her in and then all of a sudden she gets squashed. Even if it's a competitive match, even if it looks great, even if it no, she comes in, she gets over, she gets into a big battle, to save face, and this is the main thing. If you have Valkyrie beat Cargill, then that diminishes your champion because that means, oh, this is not Ultimate Warrior. This is like, oh, she came out of the blue and just beat me. She didn't prove herself. Blah 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 blah. Could happen. Storyline could be like that. But if you're looking long term and you want to build this for money making purposes, you look at this long term. You say, okay, you know what? Fight, fight, fight. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Top bump, strong, and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, Jay rolls out of the ring, knowing that she's going to get pinned. She gets out, grabs her belt, runs off. The baddies or whoever is left or whoever hasn't turned against her kind of stops her or whatever, or whoever helps her back, you know, and then she's set up for a future dates. You
Well,
don't want to lose that champ. You don't want to make your champion look bad on TV. You don't want to make the challenger look bad on TV if you're going to build up a story.
You
all
do,
right.
because you're gonna, with that, the best result if she does challenge her for it tonight would be as a result of a count out Valkyrie, but still your TNT champ, TBS, whatever belt she's got. I can't keep track of all these daggone belts.
TBS Championship.
Is still Jade. And then that just brings that feud full force. Like, okay, you got that one. I'll get you again. I'll get you.
Well,
Exactly.
Fat Boy in the chat room also said that Tony Khan is hyping the undefeated streak, and they're not going to let Jade lose. So that seems to be the tail of the tape. Lance, your final thoughts?
Well, I'm reminded of how AEW treated Taya Valkyrie's, I won't say ex-husband, John Morrison, which was bring him in, pay him, but he's still doing the damn job for like 2 matches.
Yeah, he unfortunately, I really feel bad for Morrison because he has yet to really shine. And I was a fan of Morrison, but
I kind of think she's gonna get the same treatment if they do, because it was once John Morrison, Moxley, or Johnny All Elite, Johnny whatever the hell his damn name was when he was in there.
yeah,
But
he changed his name to whatever company he's in.
Yeah. Or Johnny Mundo when he was in Lucha Underground. But
Yeah.
I think she's probably gonna do the same thing just for the check, because she's between companies right now.
I'm not sure. Maybe, maybe not. Again, we don't know the whole future. Again, we're not even sure if she's going to be this mystery opponent. So these are just rumors, and we're just talking about them.
Oh, I do know Thunder Rosa's status.
Yes.
She's trying to get her lower back in ring shape, but she's doing Spanish commentary right now for AEW.
Okay, so she's still out of action. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God.
What? Like, hey. Do you think she has a dog next to her that says, "You quiere Taco Bell, bitch"?
Oh, my God.
All right, moving along. WWE
So
has
we're
already
against
announced.
dogs now?
No comment. WWE has already announced that Rey Mysterio will be inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame. And also, Ric Flair announced earlier today that the Great Muta will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. There are rumors that Ric Flair will be the person who will induct him into the Hall of Fame, as they had a huge feud years ago back in WCW and NWA. Joe, what are your thoughts?
You know what? What they should have done, even for one night, they should have gotten Sting. Sting was Muta's real first opponent. Sting was the first major feud he had over the NWA TV title. That should have been the one really inducting him. This is just another payday for Flair. But I'm so happy to see this because they're finally respecting other wrestlers. And plus, they're running out of people. But they still haven't done Demolition. They still haven't done a good couple other people. So, honestly, the Muta is great, and Mysterio's in there. But I would love to see some better, some of the real old talent that really helped WWE through in its times.
Now, I don't want to get off topic, but now Rey Mysterio, usually when you get entered in the Hall of Fame, it's 9 out of 10 times you're retiring. So I wonder if Rey Mysterio, when he faces his son Dominic, if he's gonna put him over or if he's gonna go out on his back. So go ahead, Joe.
My opinion is he's probably gonna beat him. They're gonna probably break character, embrace, and that'll be it. I think this will probably be a situation where he's going to, for one night, he's not going to be Judgment Day Dominic. He's going to be Dominic Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio. They're going to have a hell of a match. Ray's going to go over just to say thank you for all the shit that he's gone through. And then he's going to retire and probably take off the mask and pass it to his son. Now, whether the son uses it or not or whatever, but that's traditionally what a masked wrestler does, especially one that's from a such famous wrestling family. And for Ray, who's been incredible from the early days from ECW, WCW to becoming the WWF, world champion, that in itself, a multi-time champion in many places. So I think that's the best way to end WrestleMania for the Mysterio saga and his legacy.
All right, well, I'm going to tell you firsthand, I disagree with you. I don't think that Dominic Mysterio is going to break character, considering they've made this almost a year-long story. But that's just my thoughts. Zoe, Rey Mysterio being inducted in the Hall of Fame along with Great Muta.
I think it's great that they are getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. Should have been done sooner, in my opinion. But like Joe said, usually Hall of Fame is also followed by a retirement. So Ray's probably just, to that point where he's ready just to go and live out his remaining years with his family. The Great Muta, Sting definitely should be the one to induct him. I completely agree with Joe. That feud legendary.
I agree, and I think it would have been a good idea, but unfortunately, when WWE doesn't like bringing other people from other companies over for one night, even if it's something like the Hall of Fame.
Well, they did it for Christian.
Yeah, and with Ray being inducted, you guys are gonna laugh, but Conan was my childhood crush. So I'm glad we've seen him again on camera.
Orale!
You're not going to see the same Conan. He's probably all broken up right now.
Yeah. Lance, your thoughts? Rey Mysterio getting inducted, and of course, Great Muta getting inducted.
Okay, with Muta, there were basically two guys that he had a hellacious rivalries with in WCW, NWA, whatever. Sting and the Nate. And honestly, since ain't no way, there's a very small chance that they could get Sting to come back even for one night. It kind of makes sense for Nature Boy to actually do it. So I agree with that one. Now we get to arguably the greatest luchador of all time, Mr. Rey Mysterio. Now, I honestly think since Ray is old school, he's going out on his back.
I agree with you too, and also both James and Terry 3G also agree that Ray will go on his back, and Liv Morgan will also go on her back. Okay, I'm not sure what that meant, but
yeah,
hey, I wouldn't mind seeing her on her back, especially in my bedroom.
Yeah.
All right. There is one other rumored person to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, and it's Lex Luger. And again, these are just rumors. I personally think that Lex Luger does deserve to be in. Lance, you also said that somebody else is rumored to be in the Hall of Fame.
Stacy Keibler.
Stacy Keibler, another person who I think is justly deserved to get into the Hall of Fame. So, Lance, what's your thoughts on those two possibilities?
Well, if they do put Lex Luger in, it's going to shock everyone that doesn't know the story. Because Lex does not look anything like the total package anymore.
Well, a lot of the old wrestlers don't nowadays.
Yeah.
Rick, this guy can't even stand up. He's in a wheelchair.
Yeah. He's
shit. Well, let me ask you, Zoe. Do you think they're going to exclude him just the fact that he's sitting in a wheelchair?
I hope they exclude him altogether. That stupid son of I'm sorry. I don't like him. I don't respect him.
Okay, can you elaborate as to why? What the issue is?
Well, just the whole thing with Macho Man and Queen Elizabeth. Not Queen Elizabeth.
Well, yeah, she's the queen of wrestling, so yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't like how that played out. I don't like that he waited so long to call 911 after she became unresponsive. It just, to me, it's like a big F you.
I think that's a topic we will have to talk in a future show, Rick.
yeah, absolutely.
But as far as Stacy Keebler goes, hey, you go, girl.
All
Yeah.
right. And Terry3G says Lex looks like a used old car salesman nowadays.
Yes, he does. Unless they're gonna prop him up, they're gonna hook cables on him and stand him up in front of. Look, he's moving his legs like a marionette
Oh,
because he can't freaking walk because all the steroids legs. You know,
that
Jeez.
he.
Family Guy episode just popped in my
Damn.
See, and I'm the bad one. I'm always considered.
Yeah, you're a bad influence.
Oh, jeez.
All
No,
right,
you
moving
guys are from
on.
the South. You guys from the South. You chased me out of there, so yeah, I'm only bad because I'm a Northerner.
Hey, nobody said you couldn't come back to Knoxville.
Oh yeah. You know what, Rick? If I could say something,
Sure,
I-
go ahead.
honestly, Stacy Keebler. There's so many more deserving people that can go in the Hall of Fame. The only thing she's been famous for is that she's got great legs and a great ass.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely.
What's wrong with that?
There has been
No, what's wrong with that?
no. Hell, I commend that if they had, like if that was later down the road. But there's so many people that deserve to be in that Hall of Fame. You want to talk. Look, Tommy Dreamer deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. You have the Killer Bees, Demolition. You've got Butch Reed. I mean, there's so many people in the WWFE that or even AWA or NWA, WCW, who should be in that Hall of Fame. But I guess they're mostly. I think the only reason they did it with Muda because he retired in Japan too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the main reason Demolition ain't in, they took part in that concussion lawsuit.
Yeah, they could be bitter. And there are other wrestlers that just don't want no part of it.
Yeah.
I can't name any offhand, but I do know there are wrestlers that have said in interviews, not interested, don't want it.
Yeah,
So-
like Honky Tonk Man said he didn't want any part of it. Yeah, but what happened a couple years ago?
Yeah, well, every now and then you think, okay, I can get back in the spotlight and maybe I can get more meet and greets with it.
Yeah, you could get a Legends deal. That's why I said never say never in wrestling. You can burn a bridge, but eventually, if they desperate enough, WWE will rebuild that bridge.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've like built bridges with Bret Hart, Ultimate Warrior, and of course that was like one day before he died, and and countless other wrestlers. Lex Luger was at the WWE Hall of Fame a couple of years ago, front row. So I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility that other wrestlers would come back for the Hall of Fame. I mean, hell, I would not. I still say that eventually we could see CM Punk down there. Not right now. It's going to take him about 15 years when he's like 65 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
Till he's like, all right, finally, give it to me. Give me the Legends contract. But yeah, I want to move on to Bray Wyatt, who's been out of action for 2 weeks due to physical issue. Usually it's a health issue or a personal issue. This is physical. I'm not sure exactly what that means. As of right now, it's not clear to what the problem is. Wyatt is still currently booked to face Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania despite his absence. Now, since Wyatt's been back, he's only wrestled like 3 or 4 times. And I don't even know why he's not wrestling at all. Can anybody explain that? Joe?
No.
Well, you know what? They don't have anything for him. Is he doing the? I'm sorry, folks. I haven't watched WWE in a while. Is he doing the Fiend? Is he doing the moderation of it?
He's doing Bray Wyatt, but he's also doing promos week in and week out. Am I correct, though, Lance?
Yeah, and it's also this weird thing where he has Uncle Howdy, which is Bo. But yeah, I honestly think the reason he's has a physical issue I kind of think that's just their way of saying, hey, we're going to give him a little bit of a break and get whatever he needs to prep for WrestleMania. Because there might be something big happening at WrestleMania. I don't know what it is, but give him a break and figure out what they're all going to do with him at Mania.
Rick,
All right.
over in the chat room, James says Wyatt has been wrestling at house shows and live shows. So that's, I guess they're trying to see, get him back in the groove of it. But I think mostly storyline. They don't have. The Fiend was such a big story for him. He was supposed to be that evil Undertaker replacement of a powerful, evil being, and that hasn't quite worked out because there's no one else for him to go up against. So I think right now they just don't know what to do with him.
All right. On a side note, Matt Cardona and Zach Wilder posted on Twitter that he would love to take Wyatt's place should the opportunity arise, because he would like a rematch with Bobby Lashley. Zoe, again, before we get to Zach Ryder, what's your thoughts on the whole situation with Bray Wyatt?
I mean, he could have suffered a slight injury at one of these live shows. He could just have ring rust, and they're still trying to get him back in the groove of it. Who knows? All I know is I miss the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I think he was great too. The Fiend was great, but again, WWE just seemed to drop the ball. I mean, he got the WWE Championship, and then after that, he just faded away. And then, of course, the pandemic hit, and they were releasing everybody, and he got released. And everybody thought he was going to AEW, but never happened. He came back, and he's, like I said, aside from house shows, he's not doing anything. So I just don't get it.
It's a pity, Rick. Here's a guy with a lot of great talent. I think if he would have went to AEW, I could have seen him take over the Dark Order and make them really, really the Dark Order.
Oh, that would be great.
I mean, that's what's missing from the Dark Order. They're a comedy spot. They're comedy clowns. I think and Brody Lee had the right idea, but may he rest in peace. But a Bray Wyatt, in there under he's like their a new chosen one, and he just beats the hell out of all of them and turns them to basically it would be in direct competition with the House of Black, but that will be something that will be an incredible change for the Dark Order, who need stability right now.
But like you said, I think the Dark Order is now more of a comical group. They've kind of lost the whole Dark Order kind of like really feeling an aura. It's now just a name that they seem to have that they've used. But I want to move on to one last subject, and we're still waiting for AEW's Fight Forever. The first problem, of course, was trying to get the ERSB approval, which they finally happened 2 weeks ago. But now there's another issue. GCW has a trademark lawsuit against the name Fight Forever. I'm not going to go into the whole deep detail, but GCW did have a 24-hour event show called Fight Forever during the back in 2020. And while they did not trademark the name, they only trademarked the name a couple of months shortly after that AEW trademarked it for the console game. So now this whole lawsuit is holding them up. And they were able to get an extension until May 31st. So unless if GCW concedes, we won't see this game until at least June, guys. I mean, this is just getting fucking ridiculous. Lance, your thoughts?
Well, I know the easy way to do it. If both of y'all present your trademarks, whoever trademark first gets the name. But that's not how this shit's going to work. So we're going to be in for a legal battle. We're going to be talking about this at least June, maybe July.
Well, the next time we're going to talk about it is when AEW announces their release officially. No. Joe, over to you. Let's say, hypothetically, does GCW have a legitimate claim?
if they trademarked it first, even though the game came out, if nobody trademarked it, this is important business lesson right here. If you make a game and you don't trademark the phrase, then obviously, and somebody trademarks it afterwards, they can legally own that trademark, and now you have to go to litigation to get that use of that name. The smart thing, and who is GCW? Let me just put that out there. They're just an indie fed. It's not like they got television. It's not like anything. This is a cash cow for them to make some money so they can do better, more shows. Legitimately, what is going to end up having is a settlement where Tony Khan's going to give them a couple mil. They're going to buy the name and the rights from them, and they'll bring the game out. That's the only way to do this, unless they come up with Tony Khan's lawyers comes up with a solid case that says, hey, they didn't they didn't trademark it until the game was already in development. So, trying to ruin their business practices. So, I think in this case, it is the battle of whoever is trademarked, but it also goes by whoever has the better attorneys. I think before the time comes, they're going to go into a quiet litigation, and they're going to just say, okay, we'll buy the rights off of you, and then go from there. You know, stupid that nobody in AEW decided to trademark the name beforehand. That's why WWE, when it comes to phrases, names, games, or something like that, they trademark everything because they learned their lesson a couple of times when they let trademarks expire and nobody re-upped it, and somebody else would grab it, and then they ended up buying it from the individual. So this is where I see it happening. They're going to have to go into a settlement, pay for the name. If the court sees it that GCW trademarked theirs, now GCW might lose because they did it in spite of AEW's game already coming out. So even though they've used the name before, but they never trademarked it before, they trademarked it after the game was already announced. So that could be in violation. That's trying to sabotage the game or AEW's merchandise. So this is going to be something that's going to be something to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Fat Boy also said that AEW won't get the game out until 2026.
Damn.
And you know what? I'm getting scary now because he's probably not too far from the truth. And Terry also said, this is getting ridiculous. Makes you wonder if WWE might be behind all this, as their game is coming out in a month. I'm sure WWE is not, is more than happy as what's going on with AEW's console game, but I don't think they have a hand in it. Zoe, your thoughts on this whole legal battle?
I just want to play this daggone game.
You know what? Same here. I'm at that point where I'm like, I want this game. I'm tired of waiting for this game. This is supposed to be last year.
I'm gonna go start putting my boot up everybody's butts at all these independent companies. Be like, "So help me God."
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Zoe just wants to play with Moxley.
Yeah. And here's the thing I'm gonna throw about this. AEW better make sure this is a goddamn great game. It better not be like a flop like WWE 2K22 was, or 21. It was all horrible and it glitched like hell.
No, the Impact game.
No, that was another one, but that was horrible. I played that an hour and took it back, and that was back in the days of Funko Land. And go figure.
I beat it in an hour and took it back.
Yeah, pretty much. Speaking of WWE 2K22, that game completely does suck. I mean, the creative mode, they completely wiped it out. The entrances, never mind. The creative face paint and stuff, it's just all generic. And I even tried to play like the My Rise, and I'm like have to sit there. The game takes forever to load. for between matches and the whole back screen, like behind the scenes matches. And then sometimes you have to fucking do all these little things before you even get another match. Matches are like
You
3 minutes long.
You have more fun getting yourself a rise than than my rise in WWE.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just unfucking real. So, I think we're going to wrap up this edition of Hardcore Wrestling Rants. I want to thank James and Fat Boy for hanging out with us. We're here every Wednesday night. If you like, if you like hanging out with us, please hit that like and subscribe button, and also share it, so to support Hardcore Wrestling Rants. We're also over on YouTube. We're also on Facebook in the HWR chat room. We cover the latest news, rumors, and much, much more. Joe, you're over at Skull and Realms. What do you got going on over there?
Well, I'm going back to the retro games. Last night I played Sega Genesis Castlevania Bloodlines. That was a lot of fun. Everybody got to see that. I basically do from games from yesterday, today, from PC to console. Check me out. Do the hashtag Skuldrin's Room. I am on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. I'm also on Instagram and on Twitter at Skuldrin. And if you're interested in my shirts and the shirts of the HWR crew here, go to skuldrinsrealm.live. Hit the merch button and you'll see all our shirts there. Make sure you go check that out. Lance will give you the pitch at the end of the show here.
Why, yes, I will.
All right. Zoe, you talked about a show possibly coming up. We talked about this a little bit. What do you got going on?
April 15th, Traditional Southern Wrestling makes its debut in Annville, Kentucky. The show starts, I believe, at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so make sure that you get there early to get a good seat. This is just a bunch of amazing men and women. They purely have the heart for the business, and you can tell it with their athleticism and their dedication to their character.
All right, and finally, Lance, you're over at Lance Moss TV. Tell everybody about it.
Well, every Tuesday night we go live, Lance Moss TV and Friends, coffee time. We never know who's going to show up. It's at 7:05 Central, 8:05 Eastern, where we just get crazy for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. We went a little bit longer last night, but well, it got crazy.
All right, guys, and there you have it. So, for the Hardcore crew, I'm your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when we see you.
Buy the shirt!